Hi, welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Ginete-Ilon. If you want to be inspired and be motivated, especially as we enter the year 2024, this is a must listen podcast because my guest is no other than the motivational speaker and an author of Spark and his first book, 7 Steps to Lasting Happiness, when he found his purpose and passion before he was accounting for business that is for profit, and now he's accounting for life that is for impact. I'm so happy to have with me back here on Life Expressions, Azim Jamal. Hi, Azim. Welcome to Life Expressions.
Hi, Sherry. Nice to meet you again. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. It is I need to be so grateful to be alive, to be healthy, to be in a city like Vancouver, which is one of the best cities in the world. So, yeah, when you look at the world, what's going on, you feel very grateful for where you are in a peaceful environment.
Yeah. And now that we're about to end 2023, what are you most grateful for?
Well, when your health is good, your family is loving, you have a roof on your head, you're allowed to create meaningful things to make impact. Every day is a blessing. Every day is the most wonderful day. Every day is the best day of your life. Every day is the happiest day of your life. Every day is a day to create impact. And yeah, I think one day can be like eternity
Yeah.
if you make every moment count, not count the moments, but make every moment count. The day expands. And if you're
Yes.
present, completely present, one day is like eternity.
Yes. You're big on making an impact on someone's life or on a community or on an event. What do you think is the most meaningful impact that you have made this year?
Wow, it's a loaded question. As I mentioned to you, I think, Sherry, in the last interview, that at the end of last year, around this time, a bit later, like towards the end of last year, I was at my daughter's house in Nairobi, Kenya, and she had called a few people home for a New Year's gathering, and we were discussing about New Year's resolutions. So I asked my daughter the year before, what was her New Year's resolution? She said, Dad, I had one word. I said, how can you have one word for resolution? So I asked her, what's your word? She said, my word is intuition. So I kind of liked it. I said, it's simple. It's one word. You just focus on that word. And so I used the word authentic that year. I learned from my daughter.
Yeah.
So this year we're going around and talking about in 2023, what's going to be your New Year's resolution. As I mentioned to you last time, when they
Yes.
asked me, I said, my resolution is every single day for 2023, I want each day to be the most happiest day and the most impactful day. So
Yeah.
I judge my day every day to make the most happiest and the most impactful. So if I did my job right,
Mhm.
I've gone through almost 350 whatever days that we've gone this year, every day
Yes.
making some happiness and some impact. So
Yeah.
to choose one of them would be a mega task. So I hope to believe that every day was different, was special, and each day I found my happiness in the good things, in the bad things, in the indifferent things, in the victories and success, but also in the failures and struggle.
Yeah.
And so I realize it's not what happens to you, it's what you make of it.
Yeah, it's not what happens to you, it's what you make of it. And life does not happen to you, it happens for you, just like miracles, I would like to believe.
And if you process each thing that happens to you as the best thing that happened to you, then suddenly everything changes, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm one of my colleagues who has died now, Dr. Wayne Dyer, an amazing speaker. I used to say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Wow.
They haven't changed, but the way you look at them have changed. And
Yes.
because you look at them differently, in your mind, they've changed. So if a bad thing happens, and you process it that it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing somehow, then suddenly, everything works out. I remember, recently, my son had gone to play football or soccer in Hamilton. There was a Canada-wide competition. So he left his car at home. So I took my car and my wife took my son's car. So she's phoning me, said, Zim, you won't believe this. Tofik's car's brakes are messed up. It could have an accident. She went on and on. So I
Yeah.
said, can I phone you back in 5 minutes? Because I didn't want to respond right away. So I processed it and I called her back and I said, Sahara Fazanan, in the last 3 months, Tawfiq has done very well at work. He's got a really good, promotion that he's done very well. He got chosen to play for BC in the tournament in Hamilton, and he's played really well so far. So two
Amazing.
things he's done well. And thirdly, he's been very expressive with you and so loving with you. So why don't you tell him all these three things first, and then tell him you could do a better job with your brakes. Don't leave it to the last minute until it's so bad that you could have an accident, right? And when I
Yeah.
said that to her, everything changed
Yeah.
because suddenly she saw something completely different. So having bad brakes and not fixing is a bad thing,
Yeah.
but you have to put into context of what's happened and how do you turn a minus into a plus? Because any Tom, Dick, and Harry can make a plus out of a plus, but
Yeah.
it takes a wise person to take a minus and turn it into a plus.
And you mentioned that you asked her to, okay, I'll call you back in 5 minutes because you needed time to process it. So
Because
that
I she was hyped up and I didn't want to know. If I told her anything right then, she would have become defensive. So I said, let
correct.
me think through it and how do I package it to make
Yeah.
it around her that he was expressive with you, he got a promotion which made you happy, and
Yeah.
then he said, well, and all that. So, I processed it that she has to balance, not by giving advice to her, by
Yeah.
saying, I still told her to tell him about the breaks. But
Yes.
but if you tell him straight about the breaks, he'll become defensive. I was busy at work, and that's why I got a promotion. But if you give him this context, he will take it much more better.
Yes. He will accept the advice with open heart because he was already given that, shall I say, tap on his back with the good things that he has done.
So here's an example of impact. Okay,
Yes.
now it's not a big thing, but
Correct.
just by giving feedback to Tawfiq about the three good things he did, and then
Mhm.
one thing he can do better, that impact to him because he felt good about himself. If you attack him with a brakes issue, make him feel bad, then you're not
Yeah.
making impact. You're making somebody become more defensive and feel bad about himself, right?
Yeah. So it's also about approach, the time and the approach that you make to make that big impact on him.
And if you want to be a person who makes impact, then you have to ask yourself, what do I need to do here in this particular situation? How do I need to approach it in such a way that the end result is impact?
Yeah.
I had a call with a client just before our call, a little bit
Hmm.
before our call. He's
Yeah.
from Puerto Rico. And, I was talking to him and he kept saying, I'm so tired today. I had a long week, a long year, and sorry, I'm not up to my game. He was telling me. And I
Yes.
said, and I realized that even though I didn't think he was not paying attention, I was giving him a lot of feedback, and he was taking a tough time to process it because he was tired, and he was apologizing for that. And I
Yeah.
said, no, 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 no. I mean, I said, you're perfect. I said, by the way, from all the clients I have, you're one of the guys who always listens to what he's told and implements and executes. So I told him, many people receive advice, but only a few profit from it. Let me repeat.
Yeah.
Many people receive advice, but only a few profit from it. Those who take advice, process it, and apply it and execute it profit from it. The rest
Yes.
listen to it, accept it, and then move on. Nothing changes, right?
And then do not do anything about it. Yeah, right?
By me giving him that feedback, I think I made an impact.
Yes.
So I could
True.
have told him, hey, shape up, why are you so tired? Why didn't you prepare for the call? I could have told him that and it would have not made him feel good, not made me feel good. It would be a
Yes.
lose-lose proposition.
How about you? What are the biggest things that you have learned in 2023?
So I think one of the positive things for me in 2023 was that resolution I made that I want my 2023 each day to be the most happiest and the most impactful day was a big thing. It
Yeah.
was a big thing because I lived for the most part,
Mhm.
this whole idea about the biggest room in the world is a room for improvement. So we
Correct.
all have a big room to improve. So a lot of room for improvement for me, for I believe for you, for all of us, right?
For
Anyway,
all of
bottom
us.
line is that was a big room for big improvement that I took in most cases a day at a time and was able to focus on the day, savor the good, the bad, the indifferent in the most positive way I could. So
Yeah.
that to me was a big plus. And each day, in some small, minute way, big way, middle way, I made some impact somehow. Yeah.
Yes.
So that to me was a big win for me, and I want to build on that for next year because it worked very well. Okay. In terms of room for improvement, yeah, I think a lot of learning in terms of even the business side. I haven't been very active in the social media for many years. It's not been my thing because most of my clients are CEOs of company and they're not that active. in the social media space. I mean, they should be, but most of them are not as active. And if they are, it's mostly on LinkedIn or something. So I've been a bit more lazy about it. And my team has been pushing me to must do this, must do that. And I've started doing that. And I'm noticing that, it's not it's taking me longer to do it. I'm not getting as much interaction with people. It's not my thing, right? So it's a slow process. But there's a Swahili proverb. Swahili is my mother tongue when I was born in Tanzania.
Yeah.
So the proverb is haba na haba, hujaza kibaba.
What does that mean?
What it means, haba means drop by drop, haba na haba. Hujaza kibaba, drop by drop, we fill the bucket. So even the small drops you put, which I'm doing in the social media space, the small drops, it's filling up a little bit at a time, and one day the bucket will become a bit more fuller. But I got to put the drop every day. I cannot get disheartened, disappointed, and then give up, right? So that's the learning is, there's things to be learned. Maybe I need to focus on narrower things, fewer things, and not do too many things, which scatter and then have less impact. So that's one of the learnings I've had. And then, in terms of 2024, Sherry, January 1st is a very big thing for me. Because I left Tanzania when I was 19 years old on January 1st, 1974.
Yeah.
I went to England as a 19-year-old kid or 18-year-old kid going to study. And England was a transformational place for me. I went as a boy and stayed 6 years there and came out as a man to come to Canada. I also came to Canada early in the January 1980. So January beginning always has big things happen for me.
Yeah.
So even next year, I think I'm looking, forward to a big year for me. Even in my life, in my age, there's a big year for me, which I'm not going to share. But yeah, so it's going to be big for me to focus. Basically, it's the last chapter of my life in terms of, if you have 4 chapters,
What
I
are
think
these chapters?
3 chapters are gone.
Yeah.
The 4th chapter is there. And as I was mentioning to you before with Peter and yourself, I was saying that my last chapter, God willing, is going to be my best chapter.
Oh, for
I
sure.
will make the last chapter my best chapter because the final whistle is not blown yet. The game is not over yet. So yeah, so 2024 is going to be a big year in
Yeah.
terms of, again, day at a time, but learning from what I learned this year and deciding, and maybe we discussed this before the podcast started
Yes.
about how to say no for a deeper yes. You see, I think I have to keep saying no to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Azim is not good at everything. Azim is good at certain things and he can be brilliant at certain things, but lousy at many things. So I got to say yes to what I can be brilliant at and no to everything else.
Oh,
So that I could really play world class in what I do, right?
that is great. But allow me to say that you are already making a huge impact. And for sure, your best chapter is going to be the longest, longest and best chapter of your life. But how do you say no to say yes to the bigger things?
So here it is. You see, now if I get called by my community or by Variety or by you and say, Azim, we need you to help with something administrative, right? Okay. So if I say yes to it, I'm going to be a lousy administrator because it's not Azim. Can you imagine me sitting on a desk looking at invoices? I give you a story on this. When I came to Vancouver from England,
Mhm.
I had my ACCA degree in England, so that's like a CPA in Canada, in
Yeah,
England. When I came here, I couldn't get a job. Every interview I went, they said you need to have Canadian experience. So how am I going to get Canadian experience when you don't hire me?
exactly.
So 6 weeks, I was staying with my friends, sleeping on the sofa, no job, no money, and then I lucked out and got a job with a company called Thorn Riddell, a CPA firm. At that time, today in the world, there are 4 big accounting offices, practices,
Yeah.
the big 4.
Yes.
At that time in 1980, there were 8. So Thorn Riddell was one of the 8. Okay, they hired me. Now, because I'm new, I don't have Canadian experience. They just called me in. They put me in a room, giving
Yeah.
me a box of invoices every day. Can you imagine me sitting there? So after 9 months, I didn't want to quit because I needed a job. I needed money to pay for a new apartment of my own rather than stay with my
Yes.
friend. So after 9 months, my partner calls me in the room. And he said,
Mhm.
Azim, you're an amazing guy. You've got great leadership quality. You've got charisma. You're positive. I don't think you like your job.
Yeah.
he's telling me, if I was your friend or your uncle or your father or your brother, I would say, Azim, you'd do phenomenal somewhere else. This is
Mm.
not your cup of tea. But
Yeah.
I'm not firing you. You can work here 6 more months, no problem, because you have a lot of qualities that I appreciate, I admire. You know
Yeah.
what? I gave him a notice next day. I left
You
because
left.
he nudged me. He nudged me to say, this is a no for you. Find a deeper yes. This
Yeah.
is not Azim. Sitting on a desk looking at invoices is not Azim.
Yeah.
And this was a great move for me because I went finished my CP exams in Canada. That time it was CGA. There was law exam and tax exam. And I joined another firm, a mid-sized firm, where I thrived. In 2 years, I was a partner. I bought out the firm. We had 3 offices, sold one. We still have 2 offices. I quit my career, but my wife and my business partner ran the business. They're still running it, and it's been
Yes.
a phenomenal success. But it would never happen if my partner didn't nudge me by saying, "This is not you."
Yeah.
So now I've realized, over the years that I'm not good at everything. So I got to say no. And I do say no, but I think I need to say no more, especially being my last chapter. And if you want to make your last chapter the best chapter, you want to
Yes.
focus on doing best things. For example,
Mm.
Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi played for Argentina, he played for
Yeah.
Barcelona, then he went to PSG, and now he's playing in Miami with Beckham. He's a striker, he scores goals.
Yeah.
Messi in goalkeeping, he'll be the worst goalkeeper ever because he's so short.
Yeah.
You put him in defense, he's going to be lousy.
Yeah.
So Messi has to say no to goalkeeping. He has to say no to
Correct.
defense. He has to say no to midfield. He has to be a striker because that's
Yes.
where he plays world class.
Correct.
I'm not saying I'm Messi, but in whatever
But
ways,
yeah, we
I'm
get the,
Messi, I should
yeah.
focus on that and say no to everything else.
Yes. What's important is to really know where you're good at, where you excel, and you hone that and you practice that and you share that talent as well.
Hopefully, where you're great at, not good,
Yes.
because
Wherever you're great.
the
Yes, I
enemy of the
agree.
great is not the worst. The enemy
Yes.
of the great is the good.
Correct.
I could have
I
settled for
agree.
accounting and I was a good accountant, but I would never be a great accountant.
Yes, that is true. Good is the enemy of great. I agree. So, where you're great at, I agree with you, Azim. Yes. And then earlier, you were saying that each day should be the happiest and the most impactful day. But there is a challenge. How could you be happy? How could you have lasting happiness? And I remember that you wrote a book about the 7 steps to lasting happiness 25 years ago. And now you're practicing those 7 steps to lasting happiness.
Yes, I realize after 25 years that probably that book, 7 Steps, which I was writing where I'm sitting right now almost, is basically, happiness is a universal message. If we ask anybody, Sherry, anybody,
Yes,
ask Peter Legg, Nido Kubain, anybody,
correct.
Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, doesn't matter. What do you want out of life? And you'll hear, okay, I want success, I want business success, I want wealth, I want health, I want family unity, I want love. You'll hear many, many things. But
Yeah,
then you ask them the question, why do you want a business success? Or why do you want wealth? Or why do you want health? Or why do you want love? The bottom line is they will say, they will go on and on, but in the end, they want this because they want happiness.
true.
They feel that business success will make me happy. They feel that wealth will make me happy. They feel that love will make me happy. But we're all looking for happiness, not just temporary happiness, not just one happiness. You have a few glasses of beer and you're kind of happy. That's temporary happiness. The next day you have hangover. It's
Yes,
lasting happiness that you're happy on your up, you're happy on your down, you're happy on sideways, you're happy on indifferent. Doesn't matter.
yeah.
And that's lasting happiness that you happy in your win, happy on your losses,
What
happy
is
on your
lasting
success and failures.
happiness? And
Sorry?
so what is lasting happiness?
Which means that it does not depend on outside circumstances. It does not depend on the weather. It does not depend on what Sherry smiles at me or not. It doesn't depend if somebody tells you off or is rude to you or you have a blunder. I opened the sparkling water a few minutes before we started, and the water just bursted out. Somehow it is not, and so I
Yes,
have to clean up. And so I'm not going to get upset about it, right?
correct.
Yeah. So lasting happiness is it doesn't depend on what's outside you.
Yeah.
It depends on what's inside you.
Oh, that's
You are the
beautiful.
master of your happiness, you are the captain of your happiness, and you are the architect of your happiness.
In what way can you maintain happiness inside and that would be shared with the people that you meet, just like you?
So, Sherry, if I understand your question correctly, you're saying that what makes people be happy and keep their happiness no matter what is happening around them and the circumstances and whatever is unfolding in their life. Is that what the question is?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think the starting point is to be a good person. To be a good person, meaning, be authentic who you are, be kind, be gracious, be loving, um, share impact, make a difference somehow, smile at a person. If somebody doesn't smile back at you, doesn't really matter. You're not doing it because you want somebody to smile at you. You're not doing good because you want to be noticed. Here's a very powerful thing. The day you don't worry about credit, which means doesn't matter who gets the credit. It's not important to you.
Yeah.
What is important to you, the impact is being made. And if somebody else gets credit for the impact, no problem. But the impact was made. So you're not doing something to be recognized. You're not doing something because you want credit. You're not doing something because you want many books to be sold or you get many likes or many people. If one person engages, this is the lesson I learned this year, last year. When I was struggling with the social media, I said, it doesn't matter. If there's one person is engaging, that's what matters. Because, Rumi is a Sufi poet.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's 12th century, and he's the most widely read. He's written about 26,000 couplets. He's like the Shakespeare of the Persian world. Rumi was changed by one person. The person was called Shams Tabriz, who was an eccentric Sufi.
Yeah.
Met with Rumi, and when Rumi was a scholar, very rigid, and this Shams Tabriz shook him up and saying, forget all this rituals and this academic stuff. Sufi is basically no labels. No labels means Sherry is a label, Azim is a label, Peter is a label. No labels. We are all human beings.
Yes.
We are all, and Rumi said once, we are all fellow travelers in the journey of life.
Correct.
We are all fellow travelers in the journey of life, and we are all facing the same seasons of life. The seasons of hardship, of joy, of victory, of defeat, the seasons of winter and summer and spring. We're all facing. We are one human being. We have, it's not like, that's why all the problem in the world becomes when we have labels. I'm a Christian, I'm a Jew, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Hindu, I'm this, and that creates factions, instead of saying, I'm a human being, and you're a human being. If you're crying, I'm also crying. If you're laughing, I'm also laughing, because we all laugh and cry in the same language.
Yes. Yeah.
And if people realize that worldwide, we would have a much more peaceful, much more loving world around us.
What do you say yes to for 2024?
Well, for me, it's anything that I can make impact to, and I'm using my best strengths. I can say yes to administration, and maybe I could do average job, or maybe even work hard to make to good, but it'll never be great. So I don't want to say yes to average or something I'm not good at, or even just good at. I want to say yes to what I'm great at, right? So if I'm called to, you called me for this interview, I was doing a lot of stuff and I just made it in time to get here. And I just changed into a t-shirt because, I had no time to iron my shirt. So t-shirt is well safe. So I'm ready now, but I'm doing something that it's Azim, right? It's Azim.
Yes.
It's me. I don't have to prepare for something like this because it's who I am.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do things that I can be at my best, when I'm doing it, it's natural for me. It's effortless. When you think about it, Sherry, have you ever seen a bird struggle to fly?
No way.
Have you ever seen a flower struggle to bloom?
No
No, right?
way. Yeah.
Have you ever seen a star struggle to shine?
No.
So the star shines effortlessly. The bird flies effortlessly. The flower blooms effortlessly. Why do we struggle? We struggle because we cease to be authentic. We cease to be who we are in our natural elements. So if I'm doing something that is natural for me, I fly like a bird, I bloom like a flower, I shine like a star.
Oh,
so natural and so effortless.
Oh, that's
So this is what I want to say yes to.
Yeah.
Something that's effortless and the most impactful things I can do, which are gifts that God, we all have a birthday gift. We are all born with a birthday gift.
Yeah.
And it's not the birthday gift your husband gives you or your friend gives you, or it's the gift God gave you when you're born. And unfortunately, most people have never opened their gift. By the way, that's another podcast talk we can do at some point. But most people have not opened their birthday gift because they don't teach you. They don't teach you at home. They don't teach you in kindergarten. They don't teach you in preschool. They don't
Mhm.
teach you in primary school. They don't teach you in secondary school. They don't teach you in A levels, universities, at workplace, in the mosque, synagogue, church, temple. To where do you learn it? So we're all born with a gift, and that gift was given to us to use it to make impact.
Yes. And you are going to be able to do that when you're authentic to yourself.
And that's
Everything
why you
that
have to
you
say
do.
yes to, right?
Yes.
Yes, say yes to what is authentic for you. Not worrying about what people will think or why people are saying this. So sometimes when you say no, people may not be happy.
Yeah.
Now you try to say no the best possible way, okay? So that it doesn't look like you're being arrogant or you're being
Yeah.
rude or you're being you want to be as kind and gracious about it, but at the
Yes.
same time you're not doing somebody a favor when you're not playing at your highest game, not doing the
Yeah.
best you can.
Yeah. That's great, Azim. Finally, what's your outlook for Azim Jamal in 2024?
So again, I might sound a little bit repetitive and boring to say this, but it's one day at a time. That come January 1st, make January 1st the best day of my life and the happiest day of my life and the most impactful day of my life. And be very, very, very particular about it. Meaning, journal. I write journals, but it's not every single day. To be
Yeah.
even more particular about what was that particular impact I made. What
Mhm.
was that made me the most happiest? What is that if I had to leave my January 1st again, what would I do different?
Yeah.
So each day to evaluate by saying, I did a good job, I
Mhm.
made some impact here, I was happy here, I goofed up here. But if I had to leave this day again, what will I change and why? And
Wow.
if I can live that way every single day, then my 2024 will expand. It'll
Yeah.
be like not 1 year, it'll be like 10 years, like 20 years, 25 years, even 100 years.
Mhm.
Because each day will expand because I'll be present day by day, doing things that I love to do, doing things that I'm good at doing, no, doing things I'm great at doing, and then making sure that because I don't know. I mean, we don't know
Yes.
how long we're around.
True.
So it's not how many days I've got left or how many years I've got left, but every day is going to be the best and the
Yeah.
most powerful.
Live the day as if it's your last. I remember that from Ogmandino. Live
Yeah.
each day as if it's your last.
And Rumi says, "Die before you die," which
Yeah.
means don't wait for dying. Like you die before you die means you're ready for death every day
Yeah.
because you already died in your own way. That
Mhm.
if I was to die, then somehow I'm ready. So
Yeah.
I'm dying before I'm dying because I'm living each day and making the most of it. And so the fear of death goes away.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. And we end at that. Thank you so much, Azim. For me, for 2024, I say yes to everything great that is going to happen. I say yes to joy, love, generosity, positive things for everyone, for myself, for my family, for you, and for everyone human that wants to love and be happy.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I'm sure a variety will be a big part of that.
Of course. I would just like to thank you for supporting Variety, and we truly appreciate your generosity. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sherry. I think Variety is doing a phenomenal job. I would encourage everybody to look into it and support it because the kind of work you're doing with children is phenomenal. I mean, children who have a long life to go and you're making impact on their life, and that could transform them to become successful in their life, achieve great success, which can lead to many more impacts as well. And I know both you and Andrea are being so invested physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually to the cause. And I really, really commend you for that.
I appreciate that, Azim. Thank you so much. Once again, have a great new year. Let me leave you with this thought. Dream as though you have nothing to lose. Believe as though anything is possible. Love as though your heart knows no bounds. Live as though there is only today. Thank you so much for listening to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Chari Ginete-Ilon. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow Life Expressions. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow me on LinkedIn at Shari Ginete-Ilon. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.